Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I welcome you all to this important lecture which is on culture. Dear students, in this lecture, we're going to study about culture, its characteristics, and its types. Dear students, you might be very much familiar with this term culture, as you might have used this term in your day to day conversations. And while talking about culture, as far as layman's point of view is concerned, we focus mostly on the clothes and the type of the style that a person is using. But culture is not restricted to only style or the type of clothes we wear. So, in order to give it a bit of elaborative meaning, let me just state what actually culture means. Culture is actually the total way of life. Culture includes everything in it, be it our dress, be it our language, be it our food patterns, be it our constructions, buildings, be it our art, be it our architecture, be it anything that is related to the humans. So, culture it's actually one of the most important concepts in sociology, and this culture is present in each and every society, be that a primitive type of society, be that a modern type of society, be that a conservative society. Culture is in every society. In fact, no human society can develop without its culture. And the main difference between the animals and the humans is that there is a culture in humans. Animals have no cultures because they don't have systems of learning or transmitting social experiences. One of the famous sociologists, Edward Taylor, in his definition states that culture is a complex whole which includes art, customs, beliefs, knowledge, or any other capabilities acquired by a man as a member of society. So, man acquires this culture in a society, and in this society, what do we have? We have knowledge, we have belief, we have art, we have customs, we have traditions, etc. Going by the definition of Linton, he says that culture is a social heredity. That is, we acquire culture from the society, which is transmitted from one generation to the another generation with the accumulation of individual experiences. Now, coming to the point of types of culture. So, as far as our syllabus is concerned, we mostly focus on two types of culture, that is material and non material. So, there are other types of culture as well, that is real culture, ideal culture, etc. So, coming to the first point, that is material culture. What this material culture means? From material culture, we understand material and physical objects, or the objects which have a concrete or physical existence. For instance, our roads, our houses, vehicles, pens, tables, radios, mobile phones, books, any concrete object, whichever shape it has, even our tables, chairs, etc., or our utensils. These are the products of human effort so as to control his environment and to make his life comfortable and safe. So, material culture, again, I would say that these are the things or the materials which have the physical existence, which we can touch, which we can see, which we can feel. So, for instance, I'll again repeat that our house, it has a physical existence, road, it has a physical existence, vehicles, they have a physical existence, or any other concrete objects, even our pen which we use, and the kind of recording gadgets that we use, for example, laptops, a iPhone, whatever, whichever phone you may be using, that's also the part of material culture. All these things we have just because we want to make our life comfortable and safe or easy. Then we have another type of culture that is known as non-material culture. As the name connotes, that non-material, something which is not made up of any kind of a material. In non-material culture, we include non-material objects. For example, religion. Religion has no physical existence. Religion cannot be touched. Then art, our ideas, our customs, our traditions, our attitude, our knowledge, etc. It does not have a physical shape. These things do not have material existence. These things do not have physical shape. So the things which do not have physical shape, they are termed as non-material part of culture. It is very important in determining human behavior and has a strong hold on individual. Both parts are interrelated with each other, that is material and non-material culture. So the main difference between the two is that one culture, that is material culture, that has a physical existence, and the other non-material culture, it has no physical existence. For example, our ideas, they don't have any physical existence. Knowledge, that is not having any physical shape. So material culture and non-material culture, these are the two things which our syllabus covers. Now there's one more type of culture, that is real culture. Real culture, what is real culture? Real culture is that which can be observed in our social life. The culture which we act upon in our daily life, that is real culture. It is that part of culture which the people adopt in their social life. For example, if a person says that he is Muslim, he will Muslim. Or when we follow all the principles of Islam in a real life, and when somebody doesn't follow it, it's not a real one. So real culture is that culture which an individual follows in his life. It's not that type of culture. It is that type of culture where one really follows, where one practically follows some part of a culture. Then we have an ideal culture. The culture which is presented as a pattern to the people, that's called as ideal culture. It is a goal of the society and never achieved fully because some parts remain out of practice. This culture is explained in books and speech. Now, coming to the other point, that is characteristics of culture. So, dear students, what characteristics means? Characteristics means features. Characteristics means the type of features that a particular society has, or the particular thing has, or the particular object has. So, from the definitions which we have already stated in stated earlier, so we can see that culture has a specific meaning and the characteristic. It is the product of human behavior of gaining knowledge through groups. It is the system of learned behavior and set procedures. Some of the silent features are as unto. Culture is learned, culture is shared, culture is transmitted, and culture is changing. So the first one, that is culture is learned. One learns culture as a member of his society. Culture is not a biological heritage, that is, the human is not born with a culture. He actually learns culture in a society, what we call as enculturation, learning one's own culture within one's family or within one's neighborhood or within one's society. Culture is learned through training and experience. Now, the second characteristic, that is culture is socially transmitted through language. So, culture has a tendency of transmission, and the transmission of a culture is best guarantee of its preservation, because without transmission of culture from one cultural heritage to the other cultural heritage, that culture is under the threat and that might face a problem of extinction. So it's generally transmitted from one generation to the other generation through the medium of language. Language actually is a symbolic thing, and it's with the help of this symbolic thing that we transmit culture from one generation to the other generation. Or we not only transmit it through language, we also transmit it through verbal modes, we non-verbal modes, and gestures or signs, orally or in writing. A culture is a learned behavior. Again, that culture is not a biological heritage. This culture is learned by a man as a member of a society. It's learned and acquired. That is, one learns and acquires culture within one society. For example, wearing clothes, dancing, or following any particular cultural aspect, that is the thing which one learns as a member of a society. Culture is shared. That is, culture is shared. It is shared in terms of traits, ideas, knowledge, material objects, etc. It's actually shared by the members of the society. That is, members of the society share their culture. Culture is transmitted. All cultures have the characteristics of being transmitted from one generation to the other generation. Most of the cultural traits, for example, material objects, are transmitted by the members of the society from their forefathers. We learn new fashion, we learn how we move in a society, how to behave in a particular situation. So, culture is changing. There is no culture in the world which does not change. Means that culture is dynamic in its nature. There is no society in the world, there is no culture in the world which means static. Every day new things go on adding, and every day some obsolete things are left by one culture or the other culture.